Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins then, shall we? And mainly Bitcoin, a quick look at EOS as well, and maybe if I get a chance later on in the day I'll make some more videos. If you're a member of the Patreon, you can make a request. If there's anything particular you want me to have a look at, leave some comments, send me some messages. You know, if you're paying for a paid service, the least I can do is listen to and try and fulfill your comments. So first of all, let's have a look at Bitcoin. So yesterday I said, I think on the Telegram to everybody, I said, look, let's put it into perspective. We've come down to test the 20 daily moving average, the centre of the Bollinger Band. Sometimes the best thing to do is to keep it simple. The most obvious place and the most statistically likely place for us to bounce would be here, because the way the Bollinger Bands work is if you're above it, if you're above the centre, you're more likely to stay above the centre, only by 65% of the time or thereabouts, which is what happened. So we caught a nice bounce, and I was doing some good scalps last night as a result of that statistical probability, which is what it is. Now, has that played out? Are we going to come back down? Well, at the moment on the daily, and this is just a daily, okay, it's a very long-term time frame. On the daily, we are being rejected at the moment from the first major moving average of any significance that I would consider anyway, which is the 10 exponential, which has got a curvature on it. So yeah, we did break above it, but at the moment, we're below it. And if we close this candle body below it, then I would expect that our range is going to be within these areas. Now, if that is the case, and we've got this curvature on this 10 exponential, we'll be finding ourselves into a kind of into a wedge formation, ever so slightly, but it would be a wedge formation, and that's kind of roughly how it's going to look to play out. Whichever way it gives will give us the upper hand to let us know where the direction is likely to take us, in the short term. But obviously, we haven't got any kind of confirmation if this is going to close below or above at the moment, because the day is only just begun. It's the morning still. It's just something worth to note. So, buying these dips, this is what I was saying, buying the dip here, put 50% of your money in at this point, and I'm no financial advisor, this is my strategy, so put 50% of your money down, for buying a dip at this level, because you're statistically more likely to catch a bounce here, and if it breaks down, you don't have all your eggs in one basket. The other 50% can be staggered in certain buy zones. We're talking around between 28 to 26, and if that breaks down, probably all the way down to about 20, or probably just above. And the worst case scenario would be down at 16, down here and back down here. But I mean, that's extremely unlikely, but it is possible. It is possible. So that is basically the overview of Bitcoin. Nothing different to what I said yesterday. We have caught that bounce, and now I suppose people are taking profit. The bounce was significant. What was that, from the bottom to where the wick closure was? It's a 16% move, 16.5% move. So definitely a nice bounce to have caught. And now it's time to reassess the situation. Almost all of these moving averages, apart from the 10 exponential, are still facing up. So it gives a long-term progression. At the moment, the odds are in our favour that we will continue to stay bullish, even if we trade sideways for the moment. Now, this is an interesting one if you look at the Bitcoin dominance. This is all a little bit weird, this whatever this wick was. I don't know what to say about that, if that's real or not. I'm going to consider that it's probably not real, because this chart, it's not perfect. So we're just going to focus on the actual price that it's at right now, or should I say the percentage of dominance, which is interesting in itself, because it's basically, normally in the face of a giant dump, we would expect to have dominance increase, because alts often feel the pain more than Bitcoin. But at the moment, we've kind of balanced out to pretty much where you would have expected us to be before all of this took place. So that's shown that there is relative strength, in comparison to the way that it's behaved in the past. Now, this isn't a good example. This is EOS, and EOS has dumped. It had a double dump, if you like. So we had that news of the top developer leaving, and then kicked when he was down. Not personally, the coin, the chart was kicked when it was down by the dump across the board. So an absolute massive dump, probably bigger than most, and we came down 40% in a day, in 2 days, and are technically still falling. Now what we have here is we have this consolidation trend line, so top here, technically top there, and now we're in the accumulation period. Now I've spoken about this quite a lot. So an accumulation, I always say, is very difficult to trade an accumulation, because we're all over the place. We're trading, we don't know where we are, we don't have the edge. Look at these moving averages, they're all in the same place. There's no direction. It's telling us, I can't tell you where I want to go. All I can tell you with any degree of certainty is that I'm out of an accumulation, out of a consolidation phase. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you if I'm going to go up, I can't tell you if I'm going to go down. All I can say is at least I'm out of here, which is fine. I'm out of that area for them, and then we could fall back in there. But looking at the way that this behaved since we've come out, we've roughly closed most candle bodies above there, looking like it's a descending level of support. So support here, supports here, supports here, supports here, supports, and look, we kind of, you could say, caught a bounce on that support. Now, when you have a trend line that's over 3 years long, it's never going to be perfect, it's never going to be exact. You can see that obviously it's a rough estimation. So wick there, didn't even touch it there, didn't really touch it there. You could move this up or down. It's a rough trend line. Like I say, when it's 3 years long, it's very difficult to have anything with any degree of absolute precision. It's just not really going to happen. It's a guide, and so far the guide is showing some form of relevance to it. So again, I have no reason to doubt that this is still an accumulation phase. We are still in an accumulation phase for EOS, and if we are in the accumulation phase, which obviously it would appear that we are, there's no guarantees to anything. That. That's why I always have to say I'm no financial advisor. This is my take on the market, and I suppose my strategy. If this was still an accumulation phase, we're near the bottom of it. So if there is a place to be picking it up, it would be around here. I mean, the entire area of accumulation is to be picking it up at. When you think about if this chart was to reverse, which is what we're kind of anticipating over the next 12 months, the chart will reverse at some point. You would say that actually, this does look kind of like a bottom of an accumulation phase. Now, this is sharply descending, so if this is an accumulation and it carries on, and the market is not healthy and it carries on, I suppose, going down, which it could. Like I say, we've not got any form of confirmation on Bitcoin. Closing above here is good, closing below it's not so good, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So there is always a chance that we will retrace further with this. And again, the support is down facing and quite steep as well. It's pretty steep. With every day that goes by, we're losing, looks a couple of percent a day. So if we were to keep using this as a support, we would be safe in saying that this is still accumulation, but it won't feel very nice if we're losing our money. But rather accumulate here than accumulate here, and I suppose even if it did come down, we do have some bottom areas here, which are the double bottom zones, at around about. Come on, why is this here? Could you just please get out of the way? Please just get out of the way. The double bottom area is basically this. $1.36. So that's a significant drop if it were to come down. It's over 50%, all the way down to the double bottom. But that, is that likely? Probably not likely, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with the original analysis, the analysis that I stick to, which is the analysis that I trade by, which is use some profit. I'm going to put it more into EOS. I'm not saying EOS is the biggest and best coin in the world. I'm not saying that. Now, please don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm also not running any form of signals group, so I'm not saying this is going to moon. There'll be coins mooning all over the place, and this one will be likely still in accumulation. But when it finally breaches that accumulation level and goes into a bullish mode, I am expecting to see stair steps up, to see these highs. First one would be here about 540, second one probably about 850. And then we can talk about, if it's possible for it to actually make a full retracement, which I'm not saying it isn't. I'd actually find it reasonably unlikely to think that it would have a full retracement all the way back up to 20 and beyond. But I do like the way that it's shaping up at the moment on the long term. And we go to a weekly. The thing that I've been waiting for, and the thing that I've been talking about, is this Ichimoku Cloud Cross, which we're not going to get anytime soon. We wait every Sunday, don't we? We wait for 1 minute after midnight on a Sunday to see if these two conversion baseline crosses. I mean, they've been very close for a very long time, but they've still not crossed. When we do get that cross, everything will be okay. But for the moment, just another opportunity for me to put a little bit into this. Anyway, that's pretty much my take on the market at the moment. So it was nice to see the bounce take place yesterday from the 20 daily. We made some. Well, I say we. It's always the royal we, but me and some people I know made some decent profit on that because it was the statistically most likely situation to play out. Now it's the time to start to reassess, and because I look at things on a daily and a weekly, reassessing can take time. The obvious move had been played out, which was this one. boink, and now we're looking to see how we behave as we appear to be rejected from this one. So it could be a zoop all the way down to there again, and if it is, then I would probably play that move again all the way back up. But as I was saying, you're going to find yourself forming a kind of a wedge in this zone, and whichever way the wedge decides to break on the daily chart, alright, this is lagging, this is difficult to do leverage trading with. Whichever way it breaks, then I would imagine that we'll have some form of continuation. But at this level, Bitcoin has had a phenomenal run, and it would be appropriate for it to consolidate. And if it doesn't consolidate, then it might crash, and we don't want to see a crash, do we? But if you believe in the 4-year cycle, we've got 12 months ahead of us. About 12 months still, just less maybe, of a bull market where targets, could potentially be, towards the $100,000 mark. I'm always trying to think conservatively, of diminished returns when it comes to these bull markets, especially with Bitcoin. Maybe not so much with altcoins, but with Bitcoin. So I would be surprised if we reached $100,000 per Bitcoin, but it also, it wouldn't blow me away. It is a target, definitely. So because it's a target, but it's a very high target, I think a consolidation here is needed, and it's like, and I welcome it, to be honest with you. I want it, because we can't just keep going up so fast, so quick. I know that that's what Bitcoin's done in the past, but the market cap is different now, and this is the first big bull market where leverage trading has really been a thing. So you're going to see a lot more downwards pressure if we get to certain levels, and that downwards pressure held by shorts is a bit of a crazy one. So I'm just going to check one thing that I haven't checked for on this video, which is the longs versus the shorts, and we're poking our head above the 66% mark, which for me personally is a bit of it's a tipping point. If we get 66 shorts or below, because these are so unbalanced, Bitfinex has been, it's difficult to count this one in, to be honest with you. This has been long, for such a long time, that I think I'd like them to just take this away. I don't know how to read this, but these two do fluctuate. Binance, this one fluctuates crazily, but if you see that, there's not as much money involved as there is in BitMEX. BitMEX is still majority long, ever so slightly. Yesterday it was about 50-50. Binance yesterday was like 20% long. So now we can see that we are picking up the longs a little bit, but ever so slightly. It's still on a knife edge. As you can see, same as my analysis, I would go along with at the moment the bounce has played out, and now we have to reassess. So I've taken profits, I've closed my longs, and now we're just going to wait. Anyway, that was a very long video. I apologise for that. I know you've got a day to take advantage of, and you don't want to listen to me ramble on anymore. But thank you for watching. Join my Telegram, join my Patreon, and have a nice day. Take it easy.